the funny part is when you say I'm going live now, you make it sound like we're on some like full-on TV show with 40,000, the live audience of 4 million people all around the world. Welcome.
This is more important than any TV show.
Allah.
Waiting for the podcast to go live.
We are live.
Oh, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sheikh Khalid's More Important Than Everything Else podcast. What am I going to say? So, Malana, your camera looks very... the lighting is quite bright on your face.
Yeah.
Have you been using... Is that the lighting or your Fair and Lovely?
It's my Fair and Lovely.
So,
in this camera,
for
it's
those
okay.
that will
I don't know,
understand,
it's a Zoom or something.
Malana,
Anyway, there's always something.
Malana is a strong supporter of BLM, but he uses Fair and Lovely. Go figure.
Yeah.
Now what are you doing?
I'm trying to do the spot focus. It hasn't
fine.
got
You
the
look-
focus is not.
You look beautiful, better.
Just give me 1 second.
Oh, here we go. So right now, for those that... Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's better.
Get
Yeah.
that beard in the shot, Malana.
Yeah. All right. Alhamdulillah.
Is that a beard on your face or are you just happy to see me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether...
All right. Whatever.
Irfan,
Mashallah.
no camera on you today. What's happening?
No,
The enigma.
Nah,
Do you wanna
I
swap
don't want to
seats?
be on the spotlight, brother.
Do you want to swap seats?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
You have been on the spotlight.
How's your
You
week
came in
been?
a few times. I was Sydney.
How was it work?
Yeah, it was an interesting trip.
Yeah.
It was chilled, but at the same time...
How was the weather in Sydney?
Oh, the weather in Sydney is always good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, mashallah.
So
It rained
for those
about
who don't
30
know,
seconds.
Melbourne is like, we're sort of like facing the southern sea, Antarctica basically, and
We get the cold winds.
and Sydney faces the Pacific Ocean. So yeah, anyway,
Thank
that's
you for that geography.
just so
Can you tell us
we
the
are mahroom. We're
population? Tell us the
mahroom from the
population.
warm easterly Pacific winds, I
But
guess.
we have your love to guide us.
Anyway,
I mean, with that-
alhamdulillah.
anyone listening in is just going, oh my God.
Yeah,
No, it was good. It was took a couple of days to get there and a couple of days to get back.
you drove
Actually,
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple of days to get there and 1 day to get back.
Was it a family trip or work?
Bit of both.
Okay.
It was all right. It was
Client work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But mashallah, he's like family.
Okay.
Oh,
Keep
nice.
telling yourself that.
Client like
No,
family,
no,
brother.
no, this one actually is comes to
Okay.
the mosque. Goes to my parents' house for dinner, everything.
This is
Okay.
when someone loves work.
Thanks.
Once
The
you
fun,
get
the
Nah,
fun's becoming. Can we get the mic away?
No, I love it. You know why? Because there's no camera on him.
Yeah.
He's freestyling it because it's that false sense of
Yeah.
security of nobody can see me, mate. You're in the podcast.
Just play with the sound buttons and the
and make sure you're only playing with the
switch,
sound buttons and
switch
nothing
between.
oh, mashallah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. So, yeah, no, that was good. House-wise, my house is very quiet right now.
Okay.
It's crazy. We had, so I think I'm not sure if I told you this one. So we had 6 teenagers and 2 babies. And now everyone's traveled to their respective destinations or off doing their own thing.
Wow.
And we have 1 teenager, she never comes out of her room. So it's not like, we see
Yeah.
her for salams. Salam alaikum, wa alaikum assalam.
Yep.
You're still alive, good to see. And the 2 babies. It's quite eerie.
So you have all these extra rooms. So you're one of the people that are, because of that, there's a housing crisis.
No, we're
So you
renting
should be
out.
downsizing. You should be downsizing.
We're renting out our rooms. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Fine. It's actually not so much extra rooms, but it's now that we have room,
Mm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's-
I
it's-
am playing around with the rooms, so I don't know what's going to happen when they all come back. I think garage or get a job, right? Rent your own place, but we'll see how we go.
Have you noticed in the houses, like the old houses built Australian houses built 40, 50 years ago, that despite them having generally sort of medium-sized families, like 3, 4, 5 kids, an average, like 40, it's one generation back, those houses are built, they're so small.
Yeah,
Like
but
they have big yards,
yeah,
but they
that's
have,
what I love. That's
No,
what I
no.
love.
but the houses are tiny.
They're not huge.
And if you look at new houses, despite the blocks being small,
the houses
they
are bigger.
build it right up to the edge
Edge of this.
of the property, so there's not much yard. They're usually making parks now, like joint, like
but that's there's more money in that.
yeah. But the houses are like, if you go into a house, the hallway's bigger. The new houses, the kitchen is bigger. The lounge, everything is bigger. The only thing probably
Yeah,
is
not house. Not house.
Yeah, yours sort of like a townhouse, like in between.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in between the new houses and the old houses. So even my place as well in Melton where I lived, and that's sort of like it's like 15 years old. So
But
it's
we never had an issue with space. I remember growing up, there was 3 boys in one little room.
I think
3
because that's
girls
all
in
you
one
knew.
Tiny room.
But that's all you knew.
So you just adjust.
But when you look back at those, when you go to that house, because I'm renting a house like that, and it's like this is so small compared to like the new houses. I'm not saying
that's our house in Adelaide.
yeah.
So when I drive past it, the yard was big, but now
Yeah,
they've built another. The crazy thing is now there's another couple of houses in the backyard.
Yeah. Same. My parents' old house in Blackburn.
Like not one house.
Same.
There's a couple of houses in the backyard, and you look, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like,
Because the
and we
blocks
used
are
to
so big.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But we used to play cricket. You know, you actually did stuff in the backyard.
Yeah.
Now kids do it in the park.
Yeah, we had like when we my parents' house in Blackburn North, they were like a fish pond at the back and
But
like
that's
a
what-
big,
it's
like a
crazy.
massive
And-
fish pond that
and
the
if
previous owner had left. Yeah,
And if
I
you
think-
wanted to do something, you had space to do something,
yeah,
to build this or do that. Now
Yeah.
it's just like, no, we're not.
I think the house next to the Doncaster Masjid used to be called the White House.
yeah. The big, yeah.
The big.
one?
It was a Chinese that built the house.
Is it still there?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was only there for like. It was there. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it, but
Yeah. So it was.
people
It was
talk
so
about
big. It was like an acreage almost.
Yeah.
Really?
So, not acreage. Yeah. A certain football team treasurer knocked it down. So just imagine this mansion of tennis court, swimming pool is built.
Wow.
They hardly live there. They don't even. We hardly. No one lives there.
Yeah.
So the Chinese, overseas. They're like the early ones. Like I'm talking about in the 90s. They made this house mansion.
Wow.
Then they sold it, and obviously they cashed in. Obviously, but there's this massive 3-story thing, right?
Yeah.
It's got like a 3rd story from like a little mansion. It was a mansion. It wasn't a tiny house. It wasn't like just a big house. It was a mansion. And then it got knocked down. The whole house, brand new house. Like you would consider that not a brand new house, like 10 years old.
We'd consider it a waste of
Under
money.
a decade. Yeah, it was a waste of money.
Yeah.
And then, but for that guy that built on it like 20 or 15, I don't know what it was, little units,
Yeah.
He cashed in.
and for like they're mainly elderly
Retirees.
retirees. Yeah, so it's like a little retirement village sort of thing. Yeah,
I was told the Chinese used to complain that the boys from the masjid used to throw stones to a swimming pool.
yeah.
Was that you?
It wasn't me. I was one of the good kids.
You're right.
That got built, but I was already an adult by that time. Yeah, but they were the kids that were mucking around there. So
But of course, Molina wasn't part of it.
for the 1 month they used to come to Australia and hang around there, they had someone taking care of it, whatever. But yeah, there was no one.
I was told
No one lived there.
I
It was
was
just
told,
huge.
That's crazy.
I was told people used to climb trees. I don't know who used
No,
to climb.
but, oh, really? He could climb?
We were bored.
You
in
could
this-
actually get off a tree?
I was
Which tree? It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
yeah.
Because he
Used
got
to muck
the
around a
top.
lot. We used to muck.
Sorry.
Yeah, we understood the joke. Now you don't have to like. Walaikum salam to brothers who just joined in the chat. Jazakallah khair for joining, the usuals, and a new brother.
Welcome to the usuals and the new brother.
Yeah.
We're just talking about Maulana Khalid climbing trees.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
He's part of global warming.
are
Astaghfirullah.
you
Sorry,
believe in that
Mama.
religion? Do you?
Oh, come on, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, keep going. We used to run amok back then.
Yeah.
Climb trees.
Outside, play outside. Yeah.
And it was literally...
Sound like old men like talking
No,
about
but,
the.
but literally you come home when it's dark.
Yeah.
And you could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're home when it's dark. And some of the crazy stuff we used to give anyway, that's a different story. But yeah.
So now at the moment, like on a serious note, the current, like basically, I mean, Israel is it is a whirlpool of like sucking all the barakah of that area. It is like it really is a curse on that region because now it's like expanded its war to Lebanon, or specifically they're saying Hezbollah, but yeah,
it's not.
it's
innocents that are dying.
yeah. And the thing is that they are hidden. If you look at some of the footage that's come out, so there's secondary explosion, meaning that there are obviously, you have a hostile, so they're hiding weapons, unfortunately among residential, so those people are suffering. So there's like very big weapons, so according to them. So that's another thing that's like, so anyway, that's another unfortunate, another next chapter in this cycle, I guess.
This Pager situation is terrorism. The whole world's called it as terrorism. It's textbook definition.
Yeah,
of
they seem to
terrorism.
have their own. They throw out the Geneva Conventions.
But only
That's
when
held
it-
against
so
everybody else. But when their mates are doing it, then they don't care
Doesn't
about
matter.
it. Yeah, so
And-
war crimes, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see the pager thing, that was not just held by. It was held by civilians.
Doctors, nurses.
Yeah. So
But-
now
but-
you have.
But you know they have got a habit of this. They'll take out the infrastructure or where educated people are first.
Yeah.
So you can't rebuild in that way.
It's crazy that such a small device can have a explosive that can kill people or maim severely blinded people. and all
Mate,
that.
hands being blown off,
Yeah.
hips being
But
blown off.
yeah, I saw the video. Some of there's one or two videos. But this level of the size explosion is like it will maim you. Your
For life. You're not coming back from that.
But the amazing thing is how much explosives and then radio controlled explosives are placed within.
It's apparently
Yeah.
the radio control heats up the battery in the pager. That sets off that's the
So
trigger
that's the
for
explosive?
So
The explosive was in the battery.
the explosive's in the pager,
Pager.
Yeah.
but it's that battery in the pager that heats up.
Ah.
Like-
When it
Radioactive,
heats
yeah.
up, it
Sets off
ignites.
the-
It sets off the
okay.
explosive.
So there's no. So yeah. Okay. Wow.
So
yeah.
but at that time, there was quite an interesting thing on X where they had the American UAV flying right next to Lebanon, doing these random circles, sending out whatever it was sending out.
Signals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too.
But like the
So they must. So the Taiwanese were upset, whatever, because they must have like. I mean, it's ruthless.
bro, would
in
you buy
since-
Samsung or iPhone ever again after this?
Why not Samsung?
It's part of the whole system. Korean,
This is and. But the
this is-
Taiwanese denied. They said, no, this is, we were, obviously this is not at the factory level. This is intercepted in the middle and this was planted in it.
But you can deny whatever. But
Yeah,
but the
I know.
damage
So,
has
but-
been done on
No.
a subconscious level. Like
Yeah.
Chinese factories now are working overtime
Mm.
because the demand from the Middle East for made in China, shipped from China, electronic goods has become so high.
Okay. So yeah, Taiwanese, because they're very linked and cozied up, especially with their microprocessors and so forth with the US. So yeah, anybody that's linked with the US or is an ally, Taiwan slash
is suffering. Is going to suffer.
is Korea, Japan, so
Yeah.
forth. Now they're going to go full Chinese. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like-
What's the Chinese options? Huawei. But the Huawei,
Oppo?
Xiaomi.
Oppo, Xiaomi.
yeah,
Xiaomi is one of the.
but they are on the. They're not on the ban list, right?
Yeah, then
Yeah.
yes.
I think it's Xiaomi. Isn't
yeah.
it? It's called Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Yeah.
Xiaomi. Okay,
Okay, alright.
sorry, Mr. Scholar of Chinese language. I didn't know you took Chinese language in madrasa.
Yeah, so that means that people are shifting their tech. So Huawei's banned in Australia.
Huawei's not banned in Australia.
Huawei
Huawei
operating system.
infrastructure is.
Yes.
So
That's why we don't have
no, Huawei phones are
towers.
banned. No,
Are
you-
they? No.
Yeah, I think the phone's not coming again.
The phones
no,
are
you
banned?
can, but they're on a different operating
Bro,
system.
I
They've
want
been
that-
they've
I
been
want
taken
that
out of the
trifold.
Google ecosystem.
Okay.
So they're on another. They've created Harmony, which is their own operating system. But the problem is that with that one is that it's in the Chinese, like the Chinese equivalent of Google.
Yeah, but it doesn't take much. It won't take much for them
Yeah.
to expand.
But I heard it's good. Like the Harmony OS is good, but
I think.
But
it's-
can you still access
know-
Google and all these other things with it?
yeah. So well, no, you can access the internet, but the problem is like as soon as you can just see if like let's say if you invest into the Harmony OS operating system, like you get a phone, and the phone is a Huawei phone, and their phone are on par.
I want
their
their
flagship.
trifold. It's
I had
unbelievable.
I remember at the time when I had their flat P20 whatever it was, the 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, you were
P20.
20 years.
Yeah, so that was like on par. That was a flagship phone on par with iPhone,
Crazy.
Samsung,
Yeah.
Galaxy, all that. It was like that's the level of their tech. Those phones are
Yeah,
very
I think,
very good.
But I think at that time they were with the Google OS. At that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the Google operating system. Yeah.
System.
So the Harmony operating system is it? Let me just have a look quickly. Just
You know, one thing with China is you have to be careful with any system you go with, like the operating system you're going with, because they track information through.
Everybody's tracking information.
No, but I'm telling you,
There isn't anybody that's
on
not
a high
tracking
level. I mean, even if
well, that was the reason why Hezbollah went with the pages, because their leaders were getting assassinated by the phones.
WhatsApp.
Well, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be WhatsApp. It's that if you, whatever that you use, everything that you've done.
Location is tracked, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be WhatsApp. It can be your location is tracked. And these intelligence agencies will give their ally, so they're going to have access through NSA and all these sort of things.
But that's anything in the world now.
Yeah.
Right, that's literally anything in the world.
Because right now, if you go to China, I mean, you cannot access your phone there, your internet.
Is that right?
I'm telling you.
No.
Have you been to China?
You can access your credit cards there. Your credit cards you can access.
No.
I'm telling you.
Then how are you going to do business?
You have to go through a process. I'm telling you. Go.
You're telling us, but
that doesn't mean you're right.
You told us.
It's like trust me, bro. That's a trust me, bro moment. You're Israeli.
I had a friend who just went to China.
Yeah.
So he had to get a VPN done by a Chinese minister or through government, so that his phone and he can access work from there. They don't allow all this stuff, right?
Then how can you have tourism in your country if you can't access credit cards?
I'm telling you.
I know you're telling me, but give me proof, brother.
Yeah. I'll get the article for you, no problem. Wait.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's all right. So what are we doing? Huawei or are we going Oppo? I want the Huawei trifold phone. As you can see, for all those people listening, everyone with me is just...
No, they just made a triple foldable phone.
Yeah, haven't you seen it?
Huawei's triple foldable
That thing is on another level.
Yeah, like, I saw the triple fold.
I want that phone.
Aussies have to pay $3,000 for it.
I want that phone.
So,
brothers, if anybody...
It's like a tablet.
If anyone wants to do any ikram...
Yeah, I think you should take care of your imams. You should take care of your imams.
No, relax, baby. Right? We'll mention your business on the podcast. Hint, hint. Right. We need a couple of these.
Actually, I know someone who works at Huawei.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
Bro, find out. Let's get a couple of phones for us. And we can do one of those unboxing reviews. Tell them we want to do those unboxing reviews on the Masjid Carpark podcast with all of our 5 listeners. Mate, all of you are very valuable to us. Okay, I'm getting bored here, boys. Are we doing a podcast or reading our articles?
No, we're just having a look at it. It's calm down. Like, I know you feel lonely over there. We're actually trying to get some useful information.
Don't leave me.
Yeah.
How's my singing?
So the operating system, the Harmony OS,
yes,
is in Australia. You can use it. The problem is when you go and Google Harmony operating system, you get Harmony Day, Harmony Week. So just looking at the news now. It's pretty new.
It's very new. It came out a couple of weeks ago.
No, not the phone. The operating system. Operating system is more important because you can use it in many different phones. They ditched Windows.
Can I access Google services like Google Docs and the Google suite of?
So they got their own
software.
Kirin processor in it, Chinese processor. Already 1.5 million because they got that domestic market. 1.5 million users. So they have a huge lab to make it work, like a population to make it work in. Like
that's the thing. Yeah. Like you've got China, then you've got the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So here we
China,
go.
Apple's got 20% of Chinese market.
Not anymore, mate.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
And Harmony OS is only 4%. But just think about it. Harmony's only like less than, it's a year old. It's a year old. It's already got 4% of the Chinese market, while Apple is like more than a decade old. So,
I think it's
but do you think after what's happened in Lebanon now, even within China, people are going to be like a bit more wary about using foreign products?
What do you mean foreign products?
In China?
Things manufactured outside of China.
Or
things manufactured by Western companies within China. Say the iPhone, case in point.
I don't think so because they use their own phone. I don't think they use. But I'm not. Because
so mainstream media's level of depravity against people who are resisting genocide and fighting for their lives and land is psychotic. Yeah, that's something that last week I mentioned right at the end with the brother in the podcast. That thank you, Moby. Last week I mentioned just on the site. I was reading something before. If you go to the West Report, there's a guy that was at the protest. The land forces.
Oh, and the way they portrayed the protesters to be like this violent.
Yeah, and the mainstream media was like very the West report. Let me just bring it up.
But the irony of it is that these guys are protesting against war and violence for an expo that was about war and violence.
Yes.
But it's made the expo people, or mainstream media has made the people in the expo look like peaceful mum and dads.
Victims. They're picking up their kids from school.
Well,
And we
yeah,
mentioned this last week
while
briefly.
the people protesting are the
Yeah, and you know the
warmongers.
the acid thing that
Orange
people,
juice.
it was orange juice. Yeah, this is one. It was orange.
Yeah, but
and the way the police came out, but it's the industrial,
military industrial complex.
military industrial complex, and this police are just like the cogs in the wheel, and they are just being used
How
as
much money are these people making? I mean, even as a policeman, sometimes I'd be curious to just maybe we should have an anonymous chat with a policeman. Say, what do you guys actually, do you genuinely believe what you're doing is the right thing? Or are you doing it because you
police.
have to? Yeah.
They just doing their job.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
But you're part
that's what they would say.
Yeah.
They would say, yeah, but like someone might get off it. Some of them might be psychotic. Some of them generally it's just a paycheck for them, and they are,
Where does it stop?
huh?
Where does it stop though? And
Yeah.
this is the problem. Using the excuse, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
Is that a good enough excuse?
I think it was Imam Ahmed who was getting tortured, and he was getting tortured by, and there was a policeman there or something like a soldier, something he was guarding him. And he goes, "Am I part of the?" He goes, "Like, am I an aid to the Zalimin?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "You are them."
Wow.
So something along those lines. I can't remember the exact narration, but Imam Ahmed is getting tortured because he refused to bow down to Khalifa on some Aqidah issue. And then he was tortured for it. And then the policeman was like thinking, maybe I'm not actually, like he's thinking like, he's worried that he might be a supporter to it. No, he goes, you're like,
you are part of it.
You're part of it. So you can't be like the one who's assisting in it and passively or actively. It's irrelevant. You're part of it. You have to make a decision. Am I going to step away from this or not? Like, I'm going to take.
So
Yeah.
that's quite an interesting point you've made.
Yeah.
Current day, there's council elections. We're coming up to federal elections. All of these things.
Mm.
If you are part of a party that is supporting genocide, are you part of it? Or are you going? Or if your thought process is, I'm going to do this to try and change the system from within. I mean, we've seen it doesn't work with Fatima payments, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
But my question is, are you part of this?
We had this discussion before, and I think that there is we
need to have this discussion every week
the quote
until the
unquote
elections.
deep state, or the establishment, different words are used in different countries. Deep state, the establishment,
Political elite,
whatever it is.
1%.
Yeah. So they are the ones. The window dressing of political parties. Doesn't matter what the parties are, whether it be Greens or whatever, they can make noise. The facade that is democracy, as long as the actual system is not, because they've had enough practice.
But it's not about practice, bro. This is about
There's
how much
been
money are
enough.
people making.
They know how to deal with the revolution.
Yeah.
So the system is not going to be overhauled. I doubt it. I'm skeptical of it.
So in saying that, does that mean it doesn't matter who you vote for?
They've already done the calculation. There's too much study now of revolutions over the since the French Revolution onwards. They've actually seen how revolutions work. So they're going to make sure that it's not going to be repeated. We can't have that.
No, but they're trying to make sure that it can't be repeated.
Yeah.
But with their study of what's revolutions that have happened in the past,
Yeah.
social media wasn't a factor. The information disseminating to so many people in one hit was not a factor.
Yeah, but
I mean,
if you're coming through
right now you've got, the majority of the world calling genocide. The majority of, I'm talking about governments saying
I think
this is the
government
situation.
media. Most people are dumb, and most people are dumb.
Recently, I've learned that.
Yeah, most people are dumb, and most people like sheep or sheeple, and they will be driven to, like cattle, they'll be driven to, and they'll follow the mainstream media. And many won't. There's like a subgroup of society that will see through all the nonsense, cut through the crap, and they will see otherwise, and they will not buy it, and they are not interested in like
No, but I think the next generation is different.
I don't think so. I think every generation had hippies. This is an old thing. People from World War One said similar things.
Vietnam.
If you read
This will never
and
happen
World War
again.
Two and
Okay.
hippies, and we had these like cycles and
I'm
so
a hippie,
forth.
bro.
Yeah, boom and bust sort of cycles,
Yeah.
and they are not. It's there's two.
But you're having a defeatist attitude.
It's not a defeatist. It's a realist. It's a realist
think-
attitude. Yeah.
So the
Sheikh
question,
Irfan.
no. So the question is, if there's no revolution to come, so where does this stop the genocide?
doesn't.
When?
In the goals that they've set out.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
when it stops.
Yeah.
But
So
part of
when
greater,
they have achieved their goals, that's
Yeah,
but
or
you
they're
know- but you know
defeated. Or they're
Makkah-
defeated.
Makkah and Medina are part of greater Israel.
Well, that's.
Or Makkah is anyway.
I think Medina was
Was it
far.
Medina? Yeah.
Yeah, something along. Allah knows best. But,
But this is my point.
when did it become part of Great Israel?
No, but that's what. No, their map. I'm
Whose
not saying
map?
it's part.
Who are they?
The one that Netanyahu held up.
Yeah, was Medina included in it?
Yeah, like this is the thing. If you have a look at it, it's quite interesting what they think is, and I feel like this is what the whole move into Lebanon is about. First of all, to
Lebanon's
bring,
going north. Medina
but
south.
First to bring up all the, because that's part of it.
Yeah.
First to bring the settlers back into the north,
Mm-hmm.
right, and then that's where that buffer zone is created in the south.
Mm-hmm.
Push these guys back and just it's that incremental change
Yeah.
over time. But this is on another level.
Yeah, I think there's other things going on in the background that we are not unaware of. Someone said actions are by intentions. So yeah, someone asked the question, do you teach students about I'm assuming my students about the Prophet's treaty, also the Islamic approach to war is similar to just war theory, rights and ethics of so many. Yeah, I mean, if you study hadith, there's a chapter like in Sahih Bukhari and so forth. No, we didn't watch the debate. But did you watch the Muhammad hijab debate with the Christian?
No.
Yeah, so that's part of like an average alim course will have section on Maghazi, the battles of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Sallallahu Alaihi
So
Wasallam.
those are hadiths are studied. Is it study for tactical and thing? No, not really. It's study for a hadith perspective. But
That would have to be a whole course in itself.
yeah, like a strategy. And there are books on it. There's some things that we do private readings and can share with students in class, like for the benefit of
They have
students.
time for private reading.
No, like related to seerah and
The
so forth.
studious students have.
Yeah, they'll read extra.
Not students
Yeah.
like me. Students
So-
like you, Irfan.
Like I share always with students. There's one book written by a Mamluk general on basically it's the art of war. So it's written about 500 years ago by a Mamluk general. He was actually a lecturer in a military college, and so he. It's related to Alexander. Like it starts with antiquity from ancient Greeks, and the Hakam related to it, and so forth.
Arabic or English?
In Arabic, yeah.
There's nothing in English for that?
I don't think it's translated into English. So, yeah.
See,
The thing is that today all of that stuff is used for like in the corporate world.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like
But that's why the military
Yeah.
industrial complex or whatever you want to call them
Yeah.
are where they are.
because the further to the question you asked about the police, like they're supporting genocide, and I mean, knowing that AFP is part of Australia, federal, and supporting genocide, and then where does it stop? But if people like working
Sorry.
working in organizations like Amazon and Nestle, and we know that they are forefront of supporting, then will you ask people to then leave their jobs there or?
That's on an individual level. I know somebody recently who got a job with a certain political party, but this person, I was having that conversation today, in fact, but this person first week was umming and ahhing, second week started feeling physically and mentally ill to the stage where this person was vomiting every day and said, I've never had so many days off. And lasted 6 weeks because they couldn't stomach being part of that system.
Wow, that's good
Like
then.
physically and mentally, like
I
violently
felt like that when I worked in IT, but
physically and violently ill.
This brother's just throwing topics left and right at us. Just relax, brother. Okay, let us get one. And,
Who is it? Who is it?
I'm not sure. No.
Do we
Take it like we're jumping in from one topic to another. This is what I was mentioning before, that there are forces at play that we never maybe consider in politics. We generally
He's
think
about
of
to drop a big one, boys.
No, we're talking before about sihr, right? Sihr, sorcery, black magic, is used in the Quran. Is mentioned, right, that most of it is used to separate husband and wife. So it is a real thing, but have to be mindful. Not everything's. Sometimes.
Yeah, be careful where you go with this, because some people are going to be jumping at shadows. So you need to have a disclaimer or some sort of clarity with this.
I'm mentioning this because like some people just like everything is sihr for them. So it's like, just relax. Sometimes like, you're
stuffed up.
You're a bad husband, you're a bad character, or you're a bad wife or whatever. So that's you can't blame it on some unseen force when you just don't want to be a better human being. So you got a lot of we want to exclude that
the bad human
from
beings
from the outset. That's one thing. Second thing is, but since it's a reality, it's haqq, and it's mentioned in the Quran, and that the sorcery is a real thing, it has a real effect in the real world. And we know Dajjal is real and exists from the time of Rasulullah and before him.
And it goes on in upper echelons of society.
And what is actually how much of political parties, and I'm not talking about Islamic or anything like that. I'm just talking in general human, because ultimately a husband and wife is a union between two people, husband and wife. But then there's a family, there's kids involved. So a small group of unit of human beings. But then beyond that, Jazakallah khair. I apologize for asking too many questions.
No, bro, chill, brother, chill.
Yeah.
I like this.
No, because I forget all the topic. We don't. We stress him out. Allah forgive you, brother.
Stress him out, bro. Stress him out.
Thank you for understanding.
Don't.
Oh God, what have you done?
At least you got to thank you, brother.
Yeah, I know. At least you got a understanding and love and stuff like that. We don't get any of that here.
So what I'm saying is that then take that on a larger scale. Organizations, human beings in collectives or groups, governments, groups of governments together, people at the top, are people involved at these places, because we hear about it, like especially from the States, like where people are involved in the occult.
I have first-hand confirmation from someone that was deeply, I'm not going to tell the story now, that was deeply involved in it in very high levels of Melbourne society.
And they're involved in the occult
on another level.
We've heard
this guy used to say to me. Not even just. I'm talking about court systems, about so many different things.
Yeah.
And anyone listening in would have gone, "This guy is mad." But then when you listen deeper, and then he gives certain examples and certain situations, your mind is blown.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually crazy. And he said it to me straight. He goes, "You don't understand what the price of admittance is into certain parts of society." And yes, we sound like crazy conspiracy theorists right now, but this is firsthand from someone that absolutely no doubt that he was involved in this stuff. But that's another long story. What are you reading, Mama?
No, I remember years ago, it was like 15, 20 years ago, there was a pedophile ring that was exposed in Australia. There was judges in that ring. And that was like a easier time to catch maybe this thing now with the internet, with end-to-end encryption, all that sort of stuff. And there's other, like even phones, like highly encrypted phones and stuff. They're much harder to catch probably. But
look at the Hollywood whole Diddy,
and
the Diddy
Epstein
thing.
and all that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there was judges. I'm talking about. See, like we immediately. I mean, obviously, shaitan is in the unseen for us. Is in the ghaib, right? And then shaitan is working and influencing and affecting people and pushing people to wrong and inspiring people to wrong constantly, right? So that's one that we all accept, that there is a it's not the occult in the way we maybe understand, but shaitan is there constantly, and he's at the head of the occult anyway. And even Dajjal's work is really shaitan's work. It's like an extension of his work. So, but shaitan is like Dajjal is a manifestation of
Shaitan's the board of directors, basically.
Yeah, so like but each one of us is a shaitan, right? So there is this element of ghaib that we are thinking. So just think about it. If there's like 10 of us getting together to form some sort of well-being thing for the society or whatever, there's 10 shaitan at least there who are trying to cause trouble between people, or maybe even allow that to happen. Let's get them free so they don't pray to Allah. They don't. Let them have this. So they think that they're doing good.
They're doing it, not Allah.
No. They think that they're doing good work of good, but they never think about Allah. Akhirah. Let them be busy. Make them feel good about themselves. They don't feel miserable. Let them succeed in doing welfare work and so forth. And they think that this is their.
Let them do this podcast.
That this is that they're winning in life by helping others, but they're still kafir and they're still going to go to Jahannam, but they don't realize it. Yeah. So they're kind of distracted with their own good thoughts or philosophies and so forth. So this is what I'm saying. Like in a lot of these like problems of the world, like from the unseen side, you're dealing with things, and that all ends on when someone dies. I was listening to the Blogging Theology podcast from the UK. So brother is a revert, I think, and he was talking about the death of Stalin and was describing Stalin's daughter's diary was reading or letters that she'd written, and in one of some of the letters or one of the letters she was describing her father's death, Stalin, who had killed so many people, so many Muslims that he killed, so many Muslims that he deported, so many Christians, millions, because he was such a crazy atheist that he basically, I think 9 million, 6 million intentional were killed, 3 million like it was like in the process of. So just think about 9 million were killed. No one hears much about that. And he talks about like his hatred for religion to wipe out Christianity and all other religions including Muslims, suffered at his hands as well. And like sending Muslims, Tataristanis and others to Siberia and all that, to gulags. And in the time that he's dying, because this reality comes, it snaps out of it when we think about the death of each person. And his daughter's describing Paul Williams, Jazakallah khair. He said it was, the brother Mobi saying that it was chilling. It was like the way the brother, if you read it, he's just reading the diary and then he's reading ayat al-Quran that describe the death of a kafir.
So what was it? Tell us.
And just how much like his last minutes when he's dying, and the feelings that she was experiencing, and this great burden was lifted from everyone. And just like different.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very profound. The way she described it was very, very profound. And she actually in a certain way captured the effects of what spiritually was happening. And he goes how he reached out, like as though he was like trying to ward off somebody or reprimand somebody or something just before he died, and his hand dropped and so forth. And so whatever it was.
Keep going.
Let's reading the comment.
Read that up.
So in like we're kind of distracted. Always we come to groups of people coming together, protesting, fighting, uniting, dividing lands. We only think in only materials generally. Yeah. Yeah. And when it comes to like the Islamic side of things or spiritual, we only think in terms of intention and action is good and we're good to each other. But there's more happening.
So do you think if we have a look at this whole situation that's going on with Israel and the rest of the world, or the world in general, if we look at it from the point of view of a spiritual plane, it actually takes on a whole different meaning.
We have to look as a Muslim. You have to.
And our reactions should be
spiritual, more
on a different level.
Well, we have to look at the world, what's happening in front of us. We don't ignore that. But at the
Rather
same,
than the physical, look at the unseen side.
No. You have to look at the physical because it's right in front of you. You can't ignore it. But at the same time, as a believer, you shouldn't be you should not be looking at only that. Like you cannot remove Allah out of the equation. There's malaika, there is shayateen. And I was thinking about Stalin's death. I was thinking about Netanyahu, who's dead. I wonder what he's going to be, because he's got a special level of cruelness in him. So it's and all those people that do these things and they laugh, they make those videos and they laugh about what they've done, the cruelty they've inflicted on others, rapes and so forth. They laugh about it.
Yeah.
But when that angel of death comes, man, like you're not going to be laughing You're not going to be laughing, and you're going to be, and all the curses and all the pain and all things, it's gonna come at you, and you're gonna suffer for very long or for eternity, and that is a scary thought. So, as a Muslim, like we see, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, the end success and the end conclusion is for the believers.
Sure.
It doesn't matter how long and dark the night is in this world, and how painful it is. Like when you hear like a new chapter or a new thing, a Muslim suffering, you hear new. Okay.
It's just exponentially.
Yeah, it's like today was a
Where
really
does it
feeling.
stop?
500 people just died. That's it. Like 500 died in just one day, and the world just continues, and we continue, and we like sort of don't. It's sort of like thing. Then you have to step back a little bit, and what this world is, its temporariness, and that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He will take hisab, take to task everybody.
That's very scary.
And so it was just something to I was just feeling that we're so rationalistic, so material, that even in our we don't realize that these politicians, the fact that that we're dealing with kuffar, disbelievers, then you imagine like shaitan is just kicking them around like a ball. They actually use it, like someone we praise a kafir or disbeliever and we say things, but they're earning the displeasure of Allah by just not have a stance that takes them away from Islam or remove Islam. So how can we have expectation for people that can't even fight shaitan in their own selves? Like we have expectations.
But that's even Muslims, man. That's even Muslims.
Yeah, but at least he's got iman.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so his iman is like something, like it's definitely something. No matter how bad he is, it's something, like it cannot be equated to zero. Yeah, zero iman and some iman will be, even if it's the worst Muslim on the face of the earth, it will be in Jannah forever. So but in this dunya that has to have some effect as well.
So solutions. Let's go solutions. What is the amal?
To what Sheikh Khalid said, I mean, I think it's an eye opener, because if you see in the protest and everywhere, we'll see a lot of people, the fundraisers, anything. But back to the core, the masjid, we are still too soft.
That's a deep point.
Yeah.
And I think it's a right
That's
point,
a very
that
deep point.
we are being straight away thinking that protesting is enough for us, and the core that we have to go back to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the way Sheikh Ali said, our spiritual aspect of it.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. You put those words in my mouth, but I didn't say that. But I'm just mentioning just looking at the reality.
No, but he's got a good point.
Yeah, it's a good take. It's a good take. Well, I'm saying I didn't say that. You put good words. You put good words. You put good words.
He wishes he said it.
I got it.
Just say I said it.
No,
Yeah.
I got it from your take. Looking at it with us. Like how shaitan deceives other people, thinking they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So
from the eyes of Nur.
Almost he keeps us busy and distracted from haqq.
So
but he's got a good point. Like you got thousands.
That's where I got my
protesting.
take from, and I think you said that.
Yeah.
Right?
But why aren't we praying in Salatul Jamaat in the mosque?
Yeah.
In that, after that Fard Salah, that's when the dua is accepted, right?
Yeah.
Do that, then raise the hands for everything.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take action as well. Deal with the issues.
No,
Sometimes
I'm not just saying don't deal with issues, but
yeah, I mean, I think first is you have to understand that the world that we're in, this is not it. And there's more happening that we are not aware of. And
in the unseen.
And each person that we look at, if that's, it's a lot. We can get very, very.
I'm feeling some bad vibes from you.
We can get distracted. We can distracted very, very easily by what we see, the apparent. This is the problem. I'm mentioning at different levels. We can get distracted. I mean, simple thing at home. We can get distracted, from the orders of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala by being in ghafla, forgetfulness. Forget about the world outside. Even in the home, we forget that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala mentioned in the Quran about إنه كان في أهل مسرورا. It talks about the kafir, and it's a description given in the Quran that indeed he was very happy among his family. إنه ظن لا يرحل بلا إنه رب كان بصيرا. And he didn't think that he would be resurrected, or he forgot. Like, he's so much ghafla, so forgetful in his house.
Wow.
That he's forgotten his akhirah. That he forgot that Allah's watching him. Right? That, like, he has no awareness that Allah's watching him. So it's a description. It's an amazing description given of a believer, that a believer is described with, astaghfirullah, a human being, that, and a kafir's description is given, that he forgot about akhirah, he forgot that Allah is watching him, and he's happy among his family. Now, being happy, there's nothing wrong with being happy. It's a good thing to cheer up your family, all that sort of stuff. But why is it that Allah describes the level that you're happy, but you're oblivious to the realities? Yeah. And the realities that he's talking about is life after death, and the realities that he's talking about is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The ultimate unseen, right? Because the akhirah hasn't happened yet. Akhirah is in the future, right? It's after this world ends, and because that's in the unseen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can never be seen like we cannot see. We'll see Him in Jannah, inshallah, but we'll not see Him in this world. Now, if that's a reality, and then there's other things that are happening in the unseen, like Allah has created a system of malaika, right? That we are oblivious to, and but it's happening all around us.
Literally.
And we are totally oblivious to it. Totally oblivious that there's malaika writing our good and bad deeds. We're oblivious that there's an angel sent to protect us. We sent that there's an angel that inspires us to do good. We forget that shaitan is after us. Like, there's so much happening around us that we are that we're oblivious to. Getting back to my original point, when look at these situations where there's a large group of people, human beings, large, for example, government, societies, is there interference other than just, intelligence agencies and social media algorithms and so forth? Is sihr or any spiritual aspect or evil involved in that? Not listen to me, not a human being like who's just got bad intentions at heart. Is there anything being done in the actual on society, in a societal level? I heard this before, that every year attempts are made to do large amount of sihr on Hajj. I heard this before, that from one sheikh was overseas. He said a massive effort is done, like every year, like a huge, it's like a focus of that. And, because of all the pious people there, all the du'as and so forth, there's a protection. And Makkah, Medina, interestingly enough, is a physical location which the Dajjal cannot enter. He can enter into every town and city. Yeah. That's the two places he cannot enter. So there's a special protection there. And inshallah, by extension, the Hajj is also protected as well, because that occurs there. But it's interesting that out of all the places, this physical person called Dajjal, he'll be able to affect and influence everywhere, but the only thing that he cannot enter into,
Makkah and Medina.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that who will join him from Makkah and Medina is when there'll be an earthquake in Medina, the munafiqeen, the hypocrites of Medina will empty it out and they'll go join him. So there'll be an earthquake. So out of fear of their life, they'll run to Dajjal.
Away from...
Yeah. So it's a physical thing that will happen.
Even after knowing it, but I suppose you could say the same thing with the hadith is, barefoot.
Yeah.
Bedouins will compete with each other.
Well, I heard this, that people who believe in only what they see, they're the ones going to follow the Dajjal.
So that's an very...
The munafiqun, still exist.
They exist all over everywhere, like we...
Allah protect us.
Yeah. The pretenders to Islam. So... I mean, some extreme liberals from Pakistan with Muslim names, as an example, or subcontinent. Yeah, no, it's not a joke. Like what they say about Islam and so forth. Yeah, they cannot be considered Muslims. Wow. I'm talking about extreme liberals with names of Muslim names. I mean, they're basically atheists in name Islam literally only. So they have no qualms with attacking Rasulullah or Quran or Deen and so forth. Yeah, so what's left of Islam then? But anyway, somebody mentioned a comment about the Mufti Tariq Masood controversy that's going on all over the internet.
I have no idea what
controversy is it?
So he made a statement about the orthography, like on the script of the Quran, and he said that he made a statement and it was taken, and he apologized for it and said my words might have been appropriate, and he shouldn't have mentioned it. He shouldn't have mentioned in public things that causes doubts unnecessarily or confusion. I mean, Yasir Qadi did this as well. Like, this is not for public consumption. So he mentioned about the script, that the script itself is not thing. He's not talking about the Quran. He's talking about the script, the recording of it is grammatically there's issues, something like that. Something along those lines he mentioned. However, it was inappropriate for him to say that. He shouldn't have said that. But the problem is in Pakistan, and other
People
places.
waiting to jump.
And not just jump because of his high profile. I mean, basically, it's death threats. So and the fatwas of kufr and things are being spread around, and that so yeah, he stepped in it, unfortunately, as a necessary topic that he didn't have to mention. So this is in Canada. He was in Pakistan. He was doing
Canada or the US?
One of those two, anyway.
He was with him.
Huh?
Our mate was with him.
Yeah. So now it's like he's like in sort of this dilemma where soon he's going to go back to Pakistan, I guess, at some point. So somebody mentioned it. I don't know the full details. I heard the recording. I heard the rebuttals of it.
Was it that full on?
Yeah, it was actually a stuff up on his part. The fact that he apologized shows
a stuff up.
He stuffed up. He shouldn't have mentioned that thing, unfortunately. But I think it's been blown out of proportion.
We are fallible.
I think it's blown out of proportion, obviously because of his high profile.
Not everyone's Sheikh Khalid.
And he's blown out of proportion. And there's a life and death thing in Pakistan. These sort of matters
I think
are not.
Same thing happened with Juni Jamshed. Room.
He made a statement. Yeah.
About Bibi Aisha radiallahu anha and became a controversy.
He was like, and he got harassed, slapped in the airport.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
May Allah protect us all.
Yeah. So that's sort of people maybe there's certain characters and interests that will use that to like attack her because of his profile, and so.
Do you think it's a lot of people are just jealous because of his profile?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So they're just gonna jump on it.
Yeah. Look, if you say
we better be careful then.
It's the thing. It's a hard lesson learnt. If you say things when you especially him, he speaks so much. He talks so much. Out of like 20 years of speaking, it's like 5 statements you can point to where there's an error. But this was a little bit more serious because you're talking about the Quran. And it was unnecessary. Like it shouldn't have been done, but it happens. It's a slip up, in a moment.
It's from
lapse. Yeah, it's a test for him, and but like it's like we have like we got a lot of dumb people as well, like online. Like if you just see the statements, and then you got like people who don't even understand. Like there's what's his name, like people weighing into it who don't even understand Urdu. That's what I found strange thing. Like there's a Arab sheikh from from America, and he like weighed in on his Twitter, and like someone pulled him up on it, and he said like, "What are you doing? Like you don't even speak Urdu, you don't even know what he said." Yeah. And in the statement, he's saying, like when he was actually speaking, he said, "It is not so like this." He actually corrected himself in there. He goes, "Let's assume that is this, and then this." That has been taken out of like, it's So the internet's crazy. It's a wild.
And if you're a supporter of Imran Khan, so the politically when people come after you, brother.
Yeah. Well, he's not an open supporter.
Bro, I just can't. My mind boggles at how not smart some people are.
Yeah.
It's my mind is blown away by the level of not smartness.
Dumbness.
Yeah, bro. I'm just like, and the thing is, you respect someone or you respect people for a long period of time, and all of a sudden they just drop a comment or do something or say something. But and the thing is, it's not because it's an error. I'm not talking about Mufti Tariq Masood here. I'm just saying it's not because it's an error or because I'm talking about.
Relax, mate.
What did you say?
Don't worry.
I'm just talking about not understanding logic.
Yeah.
Like that's where my mind boggles.
Well, common sense, you cannot teach it. And if you have it,
what is it? Common sense ain't so common.
Yeah. And if you don't have it, you can't learn it and can't teach it.
But we're talking generally people you'd think are educated or have the ability to make logical, informed decisions. Even that. Like, my mind is blown away.
Yeah.
And then just pure emotional reactions to things and, use logic, mate.
Yeah. No.
1 + 1 = 2. No matter how much you try, it ain't going to equal 3.
Yeah. Logic is a subject that's taught in madrasas to train a person to think. So you don't make mistakes on thinking.
But you know what, on that point, this is where I've seen ulama, whether like, not so much the young ones, I suppose, but ulama that have had a few years under their belt, after they've graduated, their ability to discern logic is phenomenal.
Not all of them.
To cut through the
Not all of them.
Crap.
Not all of them.
Well, there's one I'm dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, so you're making qiyas analogy on one that we know.
Look, it's all alim's,
And-
man. But
yeah.
the guy's blown me away.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely blown me away.
all right. There's
mashallah.
one out of
Not
like
you,
a
someone
dozen. Yeah, yeah. There's some dopey ones as well. You know, unfortunately.
No, but I think
yeah.
Don't be so hard on yourself, guys.
Yeah, very unaware of the world and realities of the world.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to go too deep into it because otherwise it's just gonna become wrong. I'd
Yeah.
like to keep it general.
Yeah. So back to that. What up?
Sahar, what do we do? 3 khuls?
I think it's something you have to actively engage in protecting yourself from.
Okay.
But then you understand that you're like dealing with a group of people that might be affected by it, and so how do you even deal with that? So like, are you the walking? Oh, my hand's too close. Are you the walking like Tawiz that's hung around the neck of the Green Party?
Me?
Astaghfirullah. I'm making a joke. Please don't. There's not a delete.
I'm
I'm not encouraging.
I'm not part of the Greens. I'm not part of anyone.
Are you the Tawiz of the Green Party? Are you the Tamima that hangs around the neck of the Greens?
Depends
It's protecting the Greens from Sahar.
Depends whose neck I'm hanging around, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm joking about the
Go,
Tawiz.
Irfan,
but
tell
like-
me. Say it on the mic. He was trying to whisper something to me. Say it
No,
on the
no,
mic,
no.
Irfan.
when you said the Greens, I was thinking of the
the other Greens.
The weed party.
No, don't worry. We'll talk after.
No, now I need to know. No,
Yeah.
but that's not fair on everybody listening to the podcast.
They'll
Come on.
understand. They understand. They don't believe me. These guys understand. Alhamdulillah.
I have
All
no
right.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we'll talk after, inshallah. But
But what about all those people that don't? I'm going to stick up for our listeners here.
they can ask later, inshallah. All right. It's quarter to. It's been an hour, inshallah. We'll call it a night.
We have to call it an hour.
Alhamdulillah.
Do we
It's-
have to call it an hour? Why don't we do a?
I've
why-
got
why
to
don't we do
drive an hour, unlike you guys. We're only 10 minutes.
I reckon
home.
one of these nice guys, whoever's
Yeah.
listening, tell us what
I'm
you
gonna
think.
move this down to the south of Melbourne.
We do an etikaf.
See,
We do an etikaf podcast.
a longer
So we're
podcast.
here one
Yeah,
night.
inshallah.
Yeah, so
Next
here
week
one
we can
night.
do longer.
We bring our sleeping bags. We
No,
bring
no,
our
no.
pillows. Set up the cameras in such a way
Yeah.
that we're laying down and we're just chatting away.
I think we can. Brothers have.
and we get a few
brothers
more
are
brothers
working the
involved.
next day. Unlike we can't just
Wow,
send
yeah,
our, we
'cause
can't
that's-
just
I'm
send
not
our
working.
clients. We can't just send a client message. I'm busy tomorrow.
I think
Some of us have to teach early in the morning. So
Allah.
yeah,
I think Jazakallah for people who are actively engaging in the podcast.
Jazakallah khair. Yes, brothers
Yeah,
regulars.
it makes it
Oz,
fun.
Moby, and there's a few others as well. There's about 7, 8 that actually joined us
Mashallah.
tonight. Jazakallah
Mashallah.
khair for coming and spending some time with us. Let's.
It'd be interesting to have one of these guys on live, maybe.
They are
Depends-
live.
depends-
They are
no,
live
no,
chatting with us.
Sitting here, depending on how
Okay.
controversial they are.
Just relax,
We'll-
man. Like, yeah, we're gonna. That,
We'll have
that's
a-
You know what we should do?
that's
we
for
have a-
that's for members.
No,
That's
we should.
join our
That's
Patreon.
that's for your OnlyFans members.
Astaghfirullah.
You get to do a podcast
Assalamu
with Sheikh
alaikum.
Khalid.
Assalamu alaikum.
Open up an OnlyFans, bro.
All right, I'm ending the stream now. All right, you gotta.